The past year or so, I've been contemplating a question. What is real Star Wars? Or what should Star Wars be? Why would I ask such a question? Well, when it comes to Star Wars, there has always been division. When George created the prequels, he divided fans. But he is the creator, and that was the truest form of his vision. I think all Star Wars fans can agree, both trilogies have their own unique qualities. But once Disney took over, things got a lot more complicated. Now, my intention isn't to make this video about what we all know. The sequels were rushed, and these many years of only Disney Plus content has ruined the brand, resulting in the common phrase, Star Wars is dead. I just want to explore the question I posed, and frankly, I just want to talk about Star Wars. So, Andor. Many fans love this form of Star Wars, a story about espionage and exploring a grounded perspective of the Empire, with the direction being very adult and bringing our reality of war into a galaxy far, far away. Fans passionately defend this show, saying that this is actually about something, and not just nostalgia and lightsabers. Then there are the fans that love Mandalorian, Tales of the Jedi, Ahsoka, aka Dave Filoni Star Wars. Dave's Star Wars is much more in the vein of Clone Wars, heavy on the fantasy, fun, adventure element of Star Wars rather than the sci-fi, like Andor. He draws much inspiration from the aesthetics that George was inspired by, westerns, samurai, and of course, he adds his own sensibilities, with the fantastical element and anime inspirations. Who is right? Are you an illiterate nerd if you dislike Andor and prefer a story that's more about Jedi and the Force? Or are you a pretentious fake fan if you dislike Ahsoka? Well, me personally, I vibe more with Dave's Star Wars. I saw the first season of Andor and it just really annoyed me. It just felt very much like I was being preached to, and it was so clear they were trying to reinvent what Star Wars could be. I decided to skip out on season 2, and after hearing about that controversial scene, I feel validated in my decision. But do I condemn or look down on Andor fans? No. I'm a Zack Snyder fan. I like the dark deconstruction he did with the DC universe, so I know what it's like to have a niche interpretation of a popular IP resonate with me personally. But you need to be self-aware enough to realize that Andor is a very different thing, in many aspects going against George Lucas's established Star Wars identity. More on that later. As for Ahsoka and Dave's live-action projects, I don't think they are perfect. Ahsoka is a very mixed bag. A lot of good, even some great, but Sabine's storyline really ruined the show for me, and I think the show suffers from being Rebels 2.0. What Dave does get right is he stays focused on what Star Wars is really about, the Jedi and the Force. But where he sorely misses is meaningful character journeys. I imagine Ahsoka Season 2 and his Heir to the Empire film will not really be about anything more than the plot and the new discoveries of lore, rather than heavy themes and psychological character struggles. Dave is a huge nerd, which is why I think us fans love him, but it seems the stories he wants to tell are very focused on the possibilities of the Star Wars universe. And you know what? That's fine. There are plenty of fans who just want that and are content with that. And I mean, let's be real, if you're a Star Wars fan, that's exciting, that's cool. But I, as a fan, feel very jaded with where the brand is at right now. So, what do I want? What do I think can fix everything? Well, as Josh from the Den of Nerds says, winning fixes everything. The cinema. I think if we had a new core Star Wars saga or trilogy right now, everything would be okay. And maybe then I'd probably be able to appreciate Andor for what it is. Though I disagree with how adult they made it, I see that the show has a voice, and same with Skeleton Crew. The show was fun, but I couldn't get past the 3rd episode. I just felt like it wasn't filling in that Star Wars void for me. I think this is what we need. A new story that unites us, not just a bunch of fan service, but a film that has all the magic that George Lucas created. What is that? Well, first and foremost, we must remember Star Wars was created for 12-year-olds. It's for the developing teen that is entering a new stage in their life. Very reminiscent of shonen anime. George has always made this clear, and he maintains this stance even as recently as last week.
What'd you do a children's film for God's sakes? I think it's an important film for 12-year-olds. And because I think they're at that point in life when their brain is confused and they need to know what is important in life.
Star Wars is a morality tale, providing a fun, epic story, but with its focus on the psychology of the characters, even the villains. Not so we blur the lines and root for the villains, but so we understand them and see the cautionary tale being told. That is what makes Star Wars so compelling. The character choices, the conversations, the subtext. This is why George created the Force. The mysticism is a clear representation of morality and makes psychology a bit more digestible for kids. This is why adults love it to this day and why it was beloved by millions of children. It reaches a depth where adults can contemplate and discuss its themes, while children are drawn to the action, the Force, and the heroic characters, yet subconsciously these lessons are ruminating. Every time they rewatch it, they will have a slightly deeper understanding of life. To me, that's what's essential. But Star Wars is a multifaceted story. There is also its iconic music, which I think says a lot about its identity. George was very clear that he wanted a classical orchestral score, which was no longer popular in the 1970s. His biggest inspiration for the story of Star Wars came from our human history of religion and epic tales, much like Tolkien. So there is a common denominator here. George wanted to tell a universal story that resonated with anyone, while evoking a classical feeling for a timeless cinematic experience. This is no small feat, and I wonder if such a filmmaker exists that can breathe new life into this established story. I hope so. I truly think this is what we need to go back to the glory days of Star Wars. Well, I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. I've been contemplating this for quite some time, and when Andor Season 2 came out, I felt like it was the time to finally make a video to speak about it. I just want to say I do respect you Andor fans. Well, at least the reasonable ones anyway. I hope you could see where I'm coming from. I tried to be as objective as possible. We all have our own specific taste, you know? So I understand that you could be into that specific thing of Andor. Like for me personally, the Dooku episodes of Tales of the Jedi is perfect. Like that's my Star Wars, so to speak. Those episodes are so serious and very psychological. They just have such a dark atmosphere to them. And I just absolutely love that. And I would love to get films with that exact aesthetic, that exact tone, telling a story about Qui-Gon and Dooku. You know, like that is perfect for me. But I wouldn't argue that that is what Star Wars needs to be, because I understand George established a different thing, you know? So that's why I do think we need this core Star Wars, George Lucas type of story that could unite us all, because at the end of the day, if you're a real Star Wars fan, that's where our love comes from. Our love comes from those first 6 films. So I feel like if we had that, then all these other different flavors, all sorts of different people would be able to indulge in. But anyway, I hope you have a good Star Wars day. And let me know your thoughts on Star Wars on my video. And also let me know how you're going to be spending your May the 4th. Thanks for watching.
May the force be with you.